Hello all. Um, feeling pretty good about myself at the moment. I've been up about half an hour, had time for a can of Coke and a couple of cigarettes, and that's how I start my day. I also say a prayer, which I haven't done as yet. Um, what's going on for me is as you know, there's a water festival on here in Cambodia at the moment. It involves boat racing, and it's one of the major festivals of the year. I think, aside from Khmer New Year, it's the largest festival there is, and I've been down every day. Um, I have been getting uh, $10 worth of 2,000 real, which is 50 cents. Um, you know, and I've been giving it out to the poor people, so to speak, the people with disabilities and mental illness. Um, they have no other choice but to beg uh, to get by. And, it's difficult to process my feelings in regards to that. Part of me feels like a king, that, I can do this noble deed and give them money, so to speak. But it's honorable in one sense that, I'd like to see everyone, happy in this festive season. And it's difficult to acknowledge, that some people only look forward to the festival as an opportunity to get an influx of income, and they do so by begging. So it's difficult to sit back and watch, uh, so to speak. But I've become accustomed to it, and I've been through this process, where I get narcissistic feel goods about being of somewhat importance in my own mind, being uh, a benefactor, uh, so to speak. And like I mentioned, I feel like a little kid again, except this time I'm playing the role of my father, who used to provide me with an endless supply of chips and soft drink, so to speak, especially when I was drinking. And now that role has reversed, so to speak. I'd like to think that I'm a little bit more genuine and authentic in helping others, but I've got to be honest about my motives for doing so. Um, yeah. So and it's a hard one as well. If you get seen um, giving out money, especially if there's a collective, you get mobbed, so to speak. And yeah, I don't want to be harassed um, by beggars, looking for money. Um, and there's also a syndicate here in Cambodia, whether it's actually professional beggars, so part of me identifies with the uh, poverty, so to speak, except even in my youth, we had access to more services than what they do here in Kamai. Um, but the dodgy little kids that come up and beg, um, and I feel a kinship and an affinity to that, so to speak. Um, because when I was living with my mother, things were a lot more tighter, and it's not like I used to beg, but I used to thieve, so to speak, to support my cigarette addiction and to play video games. I felt guilty about that for a long time, because I used to just thieve off my mother. Yeah. But on that note, I rang my mother yesterday, and she seems to be of the belief that when I arrive home, she'll be moving back into the family home. Um, because of my arrival. Um, and that scares me. I don't have a great deal of feeling for my mother. If anything, it's just guilt that, I was a shit of a kid. But, I can also acknowledge too that, uh, I had quite a few unaddressed issues that just got repressed, that I was acting out on subconsciously that I'm still working my way through, at the age of 47, that, if you were to speak of these matters with my mother, she'd just either deny them or, make up some justification as to what her behaviour was. Never once has she apologised to me for, the ineptitude that she showed as a parent. In her own mind, she believes she is perfect, so to speak. And, I guess, having someone reflect or mirror that back to you, then it's no wonder I have, these traits that are perceived as being problematic. I can acknowledge them for the most part today, especially in regards to this narcissism, and having psychotic tendencies. Um, I thought that I'd be able to convince the world that I was a loving, adorable, charming individual, when in reality, if I play a game, I set out to win. And I guess that's why I avoid life so much, because, I don't want to, the games that I played as a child that led to trauma, whenever that kind of registers in my mind that there's a game being played, either intense fear comes up for me, where I start to feel anxious and insecure, or otherwise, it's from an egotistical point of view where I want to dominate and control and are willing to go to any lengths, for victory. And some of the thoughts that I get, when I'm resentful and angry are indicative of a psychopath, and I never really wanted to acknowledge that, because my older brother had called me a psycho at the age of 14, and I didn't want him to win. So a lot of my omnibenevolence and omniscient and omnipotence is basically just a reaction formation to the fact that I don't want to deal with the fact that I am incredibly selfish and self-centered. So yeah, that's only been revealed to me over the last couple of weeks. But anyway, I've been talking for about 10 minutes now. So I didn't want to go on for so long. I just wanted to basically inform you that I'll try and get some footage of the boat final today, and I'll also try and get some footage of some of the food they eat here in Cambodia that's considered a delicacy, I suppose. Because it seems to be everywhere in the food section of the festival. And that's cows' hoofs, you know, it's all just gristle and skin and shit like that, and pigs' heads. Yeah, uh, it's fair for them, but it doesn't really appeal to my appetite. But I'll try and get some footage of the beggars and the food, and you may come to appreciate how fortunate you really are to be living in a developed country. Okay, leave me a comment and I'll get back to you. That's all I've got to say today. But ciao for now. Okay, bye.